Alright, sweet. Here we go. Throw this over here. Oh, hello? Is that? We did. Welcome to Group 2's presentation on Starbucks. Let's kick it off with a little bit of our table of contents. We'll start with an introduction on ourselves. We'll move on to a little bit of the history, environmental analysis, then the marketing plan, and then we'll talk about the case study. Cool? You guys ready? Let's do this. Introduction. We'll start with me. Hello, my name is Ryan Boos. I'm a photography major here at NMU from Allen Park, Michigan. And in middle school, I was voted most likely to be on a reality TV show. I wanted cutest couple, but I was single, so that was upsetting. Moving on.
My name is Ryan Ingmeyer. I'm a hospitality management student. If anybody needs me, I'll be in the kitchen. Pretty much my motto.
I'm Rachel Erickson, also hospitality management. I'm from Republic, Michigan, so I'm local.
I'm Alex Gravadoni. I'm a construction management student, and I'm also local from Medina, Michigan.
My name's Louis Goff, sustainable business and enterprise creation major, and I'm from here, Marquette.
Hi, I'm Ethan McNeil. I'm an art and design major and concentration in graphic design, and I come from Cone, Michigan.
How about that? Move on to some history.
Okay, the founders and creation, like 1971, Jerry, Zen, and Gordon all created Starbucks. And this was their mission statement of like fresh roasted coffee beans, tea, spices from around the world for customers to take home. That was like their motto. Then in 1981, Howard Schultz came in and tried coffee the first time, and he absolutely loved it. And then in 1982, he joined the company. He traveled to Milan and learned their coffee culture and brought it back to Starbucks to give ideas. And then in 1987, Howard Schultz bought out from the other guys. Okay, major turning points. 1987, Vancouver, Canada. That's their first international Starbucks that was open. 1994, the drive-through was created for them, which was more convenient. 1997, the Starbucks Foundation was created. 1998, Starbucks was introduced to the grocery market. 2001, they came out with the Starbucks card. They wanted to be more recycle, stuff like that. So in 2006, paper cups were introduced. 2014, new college achievement plan came out, which gave certain Starbucks employees degree through Arizona State, so it was paid for by Starbucks. And then they started giving back. So in their plans, they started the Starbucks Food Share, which was a food bank. Less plastic, less straws, strawless lids. They wanted to not have as much plastic. Mental health benefits, equal pay for men and women, and then hiring military spouses and retired veterans to get them up there. And then I brought this in to kind of show how many Starbucks there are. And there is approximately 15,400, there's so many different numbers, but, and about 8,900 of them are out of the US. So it shows you all the countries. And
Environmental analysis. We're going to start with competitive factors. So their main competition is chain competitors like Costa Coffee, Dunkin' Donuts, Big B Coffee, Tim Hortons, and then even McCafe. But they're kind of dominating with chain competitors. As you see in 2015, Starbucks generated 10 times more revenue than Costa Coffee, which was their biggest chain competitor. Other competition, there's local coffee shops, which if you look in the top right, they greatly outnumber the amount of Starbucks. That's just here in Marquette. Coffee grounds wholesalers and energy drinks are other competitors. So yeah, local coffee shops outnumber Starbucks in the U.S. And around 70% of Americans actually make their own coffee at home. So that's like a huge part of the coffee drinkers that aren't even going to Starbucks. And then energy drinks are also becoming more popular as a source for caffeine later on in the day. Starbucks is addressing the competition mainly through product differentiation. This is like seasonal drinks, refreshers, teas, custom orders, other things just to stand out compared to the other chain competitors basically. And then also they do a lot of brand loyalty, and half of its sales is actually generated from its rewards members. Economic factors. So the biggest external economic factor on Starbucks is the economy. Starbucks and the economy share a positive correlation, so when the economy is doing well, Starbucks is also doing well. And this can be a challenge because when we're in like recessions and downturns, Starbucks products aren't really essential, so people won't be like spending their money on that. Starbucks also creates high-end products and misses out on lower income customers. And then also another economic factor is that different states and countries have different taxation laws that Starbucks needs to follow. Technological factors. So technology is like constantly changing, and it's really important for these large chains to be super up to date on different stuff like that, so they can get it's like there's a lot of profit being made based on technology in general. And the creation of social media really kind of changed the way that online marketing is done, especially for Starbucks. They have like over 18 million followers on Instagram that they can reach just through posting on Instagram. Another example, they have the mobile app where customers can they can order online and pay online, which is like really reduced the drive-through traffic, made it more efficient. And that picture in the top right, they also recently upgraded their new espresso machines, that are like industry-leading, more efficient than before. Socio-cultural factors. The biggest thing is they have to adapt to different countries' norms and values. For example, in Japan, they have architects design the building, so that's the photo on the top right. Starbucks also changed their logo to fit norms in Saudi Arabia. That's the other picture. And this is a big thing in France, where they kind of do this everywhere. And like internationally, they offer local dishes, but it was a bigger deal in France because they thought like the chain coffee was really cheap and like low quality, so they kind of had to like battle with that problem, and so they incorporated some like local French coffee instead, and that like helped them out a lot. Increase in consumers' environmental awareness is a big thing. That caused them to eliminate the use of plastic straws in 2020, and just in general increase their focus on biodegradable lids and reusable cups. Consumer behavior has also shifted to support local and small businesses, which is a problem that they currently are dealing with. Global implications. Starbucks operates in 80 countries and has about 32,000 store locations. Out of the estimated 18,000 Starbucks locations outside the U.S., around half are company operated and half are licensed. Outside the U.S., Starbucks has the most locations in China, Canada, Japan, and South Korea. And Starbucks has a U.S. market share of around 35% in the retail coffee industry. There's a lot of different challenges doing business internationally. Language and cultural differences are huge ones. And Starbucks does a really good job of like sending representatives to other countries and really doing research on different culture and norms to accommodate.
So the marketing plan. Starbucks has a lot of marketing plans. They have a lot of like plans in general for what they suspect of their company. So they fit a lot of different bills that they expected the company to actually market to the public. So for branding, they really need to respect their brand highly. So what they do is they create major focuses on branding to keep their brand both safe and profitable and to look well for the actual public. So they want the brand to represent quality and quick service to their customers. They also strive to focus to make customers think that their products are high quality to justify a higher price, so they keep their brand, also their locations and other themes that create the entire identity of Starbucks at a very high quality and a very quick service. So their logo design was one of the things that shows that pretty well, because they're very soft and very quick design that can be very memorable to the public, so it can make you more invested and more memorable, so when you actually look at the logo, you'll associate it with Starbucks. So one of the plans that Starbucks has is sustainability. Starbucks really wants to present a sustainable outlook to customers, and they really want to show it, so the company strives on creating a sustainable business practice that creates a contributing brand to society. So they really want to show their environmental impact on the world as being a positive instead of a negative to their consumers, to the public. So Starbucks, basically, they do different events and they recycle, they make different types of qualities that can contribute to that environmental change. For instance, they have one that's basically reusing, they have recycling bins at their stores that you can recycle the different cups in. So if it's plastic or it's paper, they have 2 separate recycle bins, and they also change their straw layout to create a better outlook and to show the public that they're environmentally impactful. So they also do international marketing. So Starbucks wants to present itself internationally in a good light, and they also want to present themselves in a very positive outlook on how the actual countries that they internationally go to presents it. So in certain cultures, they have certain responsibilities and certain norms that the culture expects of a business in that region. So, for instance, a lot of the time, localized businesses, they change the layout of how the store looks, they change how they present themselves, they make different types of products to fit the actual market in that area. And if it does not fit that cultural norm, Starbucks expects it to. So, for instance, in the local bean process, a lot of their market in, for instance, Panama, they locally produce their brand. So they want to locally produce all of their coffee beans in the country that they take place in. So in Panama, they use 98% of the coffee beans that is used in the coffee in Panama is produced directly from Panama and creates a better local format that equates to Panama instead of international. So they really want to show themselves as they're supporting the local community instead of the international community as a whole. So the market, they do travel a lot, and they also promote cities. Another type of thing they use is the Bend There series. So they like to promote tourism, and they like to promote the areas where they have Starbucks at. So for instance, Detroit, internationally, if someone goes to Detroit, they can promote that they went to Detroit, so they can buy the merch that they sell for Detroit, and they can buy different stuff, and then when they go back to their area of where they were, they can say, hey, I traveled to a Starbucks in Detroit. So it both promotes their product, their brand, and it also shows memorabilia to where they traveled to. So it also promotes the local area they went to.
The Starbucks marketing mix. Product. Starbucks has a wide variety of products, from coffee products like hot, just brown coffee and frappuccinos. They also have teas and lemonades that you can buy at their cafes. They have breakfast and lunch foods like wraps and sandwiches, and then they also sell merchandise at these stores like mugs, t-shirts, other travel mugs too. Price. Starbucks uses a strategy called premium pricing strategy, which basically means that they price their goods at high prices so that people automatically think that their goods are of high quality, and so is the place itself is of high quality. Place. Starbucks has mainly coffee houses and cafes where they sell their products at. They also sell things at retailers like Walmart and Target, like their coffee beans. And they also use a website and a mobile app to make things faster for customers, so they're in and out of stores instead of waiting in lines. Promotion. They mainly use social media, as younger generations normally go to Starbucks, including college students like us. They promote it on Instagram and Facebook a lot, and sometimes TikTok as well. They also have printed ads and TV commercials for older generations that might not use social media as much as the younger generation does. And I would say the biggest promotion is just shared experiences through customers.
Ooh, let's talk about SWOT. So strengths, right? We've got quite a few, at Starbucks. So obviously we've got our strong brand image, which we've talked about a little bit already. Strong financial performance. Starbucks has made a lot of money. I have a number in the paper. I forgot to put it in the presentation, so that's my bad. Huge growth in stores. They have an extensive international supply chain. Quality, taste, and standardization is probably the biggest thing, the biggest strength that Starbucks has, and that's what they strive for. Obviously, efficiency, strategic planning. Their employee treatment and loyalty programs are super big for Starbucks. They want to make sure they're always treating people right, and that also goes with increased starting wages and gender-neutral restrooms, which is a really, really big thing in the LGBTQ+ community. Weaknesses, not nearly as many, which there are more, but they really can be brought down to high prices, right? The imitability of the products. It's easy to make hot chocolate. There's a big issue in Europe with Starbucks avoiding taxes. The weird technological stuff going on there. They've also had to recall some products that people were really enjoying, but whether due to contamination or whatever it may be, they had to recall them. Opportunities, obviously there's a lot of stuff they can be doing. One of my favorite things on this list here is the coffee delivery service and the coffee subscription, right? So maybe you pay a monthly fee, and you go in and you get a free coffee every day. You get a free coffee every day for a monthly subscription, or the coffee delivery service, which would clear up the drive-through lines as well as the stores and still people buying coffee, and allow them to compete with stuff like DoorDash and Uber Eats. Threats, we've got low-cost competition, right? Obviously Starbucks is very expensive. Going through this kind of really quick, imitation we talked about a little bit. Coronavirus is a big one. Obviously that has affected all businesses. And then dietary racism, Starbucks has been accused of a few times, which for those of you who don't know what dietary racism is, it is, they've been accused of bringing lower cost items that are not healthy, that bringing those items to the low cost, the low cost areas of the world, which tend to be what's the word I'm looking for? Minorities. Sorry.
Alright, cool. Real quick competitor case study analysis. So we're doing this over Big B. So Big B Coffee was founded in 1995 by Bob Fish, Mike McFall. Now there's 240 locations across the US. So just basically the big picture of Big B real quick. They are very similar to Starbucks and how they do their marketing. However, they're focused on smaller groups of people, namely lower income groups of people, and also those who are more focused on local or community-minded businesses. So real quick, 4P for Big B. I don't know why my little graphic didn't show up. That's very interesting. Product, coffee-based drinks, tea, hot chocolate, energy drinks, frozen beverages, and also a little bit of breakfast foods. They do local and farm-bred coffee beans. Prices, we're looking relatively cheap, anywhere from $1.99 to $6.89 at the highest, and that's for like their specialty items and whatnot. Place at Big B tries to normally put themselves in the most populated areas that they can, that also conform to their target segmentation of locally minded, lower income people, so college students, downtown locations, and smaller cities, metropolitan areas, malls, etc., etc. Promotion, we have a really prodigious online and social media presence. Big B's really good about promoting themselves. They also do paid ads on Instagram and YouTube. They have rewards programs, and word of mouth has been super huge for them. Okay, so Starbucks versus Big B. A couple key differences. Starbucks has a really big global marketing presence where Big B does not. Big B is still it's a US-based company, and it gives a really good local feel about it. For Starbucks, your brand is associated with somewhat more expensive, seemingly more luxury products, where Big B is really not so much. And similarities are that they basically have the same products. They both market towards younger people and also attempt in their marketing efforts, attempt to provide a sense of eco-friendliness and sustainability. So what can we learn from Big B? This kind of seems to be the marketing plan of our generation. Everybody wants to create a sense of eco-friendliness, create a sense of sustainability and local business practices whilst doing the minimal required to reach those goals. And that's all we have.